can you see me? Hey everybody, this is Krista Hayburn from Women Organized Against Rape. I just want to let everybody know that it is a little bit rainy out here, but we truly do appreciate you coming out here to support us. And Teal Day takeover or redo. Thank you, Lydia. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. Stay tuned, watch it. It's probably better that you might be at home in your nice warm house. So we will get started in a few minutes.
I know. I was just watching it.
I'll watch it.
It's more to it. It's beyond TV.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Learn to Saxon. Oh, sorry. I forget one of mine.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you, though.
You're gonna lose that battle.
You want to? Should I get started? Come closer. I was gonna say, okay, everyone, we'll get started. My name is Diana Jackson, and I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your day and braving the weather to come out here and help us support victims of sexual violence in our Teal Redo Day. So, to kick off this press conference, Thor and I would like to introduce the Executive Director of Women Organized Against Rape, Dr. Monique Howard. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So we're going to make this a quick hour, therapeutic hour, because I did put in an application to hold off the rain and cold weather as I could. So far, it's not working. But as Diana told you, I'm the Executive Director of WAR, Women Organized Against Rape. I am grateful to all of you for coming today and supporting us as we recognize April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We are here to raise awareness and to honor and recognize survivors of sexual assault and violence and members of our community who are committed to our mission of eliminating sexual violence in Philadelphia. I would like to recognize the following people for their support and commitment to eliminating sexual assault and to the work that we do. Thank you to Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown and Helen Kim for making this day possible. I'd like to recognize Mayor Jim Penny, who will be arriving a little later on, and District Attorney's Office, Larry Krasner and his staff is here as well for supporting what we do in the courtrooms.
Councilman Talbenberg.
Thank you. Councilman
Talbenberg.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming as well. Additionally, I'd like to recognize the police department for displaying the teal ribbons on their cars, and Javita Hill from the Philadelphia Commission for Women for her support and dedication to women's rights and issues. And
It's okay.
and the staff, and is that Hale? And the staff and the volunteers and the board of Women Organized Against Rape. As the only rape crisis center in the city of Philadelphia, our overarching goal is to eliminate sexual violence through specialized treatment services, comprehensive prevention education programs, and advocacy for the rights of sexual assault survivors. In 2017, we provided free services to over 80,000 individuals. These individuals came through our doors, telephoned the hotline, participated in our prevention education programs, or encountered our outreach workers in the community. Our court advocates have provided support to 754 victims of sexual assault, either adults or children. We currently have 9 different support groups running each week, and between July 2017 and today, there have been 3,246 telephone calls to our 24-hour hotline. That's a 100% increase of the work that we've done last year on the hotline. So I want to thank everyone for that. So not only have we had those notable accomplishments, we've had 2 more, particularly around changing the way we identify communities in need of outreach services by working with GIS mapping of sexual assaults and enhancing the relationship with Temple University. So now that we have an outstation, a secure location on Temple University to provide additional services to victims of sexual assault. Through our work and events like this, we aim to create an open dialogue about sexual assault. This year, that seems more relevant than ever. Movements like Me Too and Time's Up have captured the attention of millions and empowered survivors of sexual violence everywhere. Since the inception of the Me Too movement, survivors have come forward in mass to say, "This has happened to me," opening up the lines of communication in our community to be able to talk about and discuss words and topics such as sexual assault and harassment. Because the reality is this happens every day. WAR believes wholeheartedly that there are more and more survivors share their truth. We can move toward a culture of consent in turn dispelling the fear, shame, and judgment often associated with speaking up about these horrendous acts. By embracing and uplifting these survivors with compassion and love, we can support their healing as they make the journey to return to their authentic self. We can put an end to sexual violence in the city of Philadelphia. We can make Philadelphia a safe city. And speaking of making Philadelphia a safe city, we at WAR are excited about our newish initiative, Safe City Philadelphia, an initiative that is an expansion of our current services that will reduce the incidence of sexual assault through a coordinated citywide response. This prevention model will increase our efforts to ensure that Philadelphia is safe by engaging the entire city around the sexual violence topic. We are using a bystander model of activating ambassadors and skilled advocates to safely intervene in potentially sexually violent or human trafficking situations by either directly intervening, seeking help from another individual, or interrupting the situation, all done safely. We look forward to working closely with the city and other entities to make Philadelphia a safe city. If you are tweeting today or posting on Facebook, please use the hashtags hashtag Safe City Philly, Teal Day 2018, or Get Consent Philadelphia. Thank you again for attending, and now I'd like to turn the mic over to one of our greatest supporters, Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown. Thank you very much.
I'm good. How are you? Are you enjoying the liquid sunshine?
Woo-hoo!
Hello?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the facts are very, very important. As a member of Philadelphia City Council, I am always struck first by facts that drive us to create public policy. I want to say thank you and hello to my colleague, Councilman Alan Taltenberger, who cares a lot about this issue, as is evidenced by his presence. So let's just look at the facts. In Philadelphia, 1,100 cases of rape were reported last year, just last year. The police made 383 arrests in relation to rape, and only 1/3 of sexual assault cases are actually reported to police. So there's still a lot of shame that comes with being in that awful, 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 awful circumstance. We need to salute the work of WAR and its Executive Director, Monique Howard, for working with like organizations who understand that this is a problem, and all of us have a responsibility to do something about it in the corner of the world that you occupy. All of us have a responsibility to be connected to the issue, and then to, when we can, speak up on the issue. Every 98 seconds, someone in our country is assaulted. So why the color teal? Teal is a color chosen to represent and raise awareness for sexual assault survivors. You should be advised that on Boathouse Row, the Boathouse Row, we all know what Boathouse Row is, right? Hello? Yes, it's going to be lit in teal for the entire month of April, and that's a big deal. So tell your friends, be an advocate and a listener for those in your world who may have to deal with this ugly issue of sexual assault, and then encourage them, help them, take their hand to those agencies that can move them to a place where they can speak confidently about it, but then ask for the help needed so that they can move on with their lives. We're lucky in our city to have a leader on the second floor who cares about this issue. He unapologetically stands up for women consistently, as well as those victims and survivors. And you should know that he's the 99th mayor of our city. He is known as a renowned feminist. How about that? So let's welcome our mayor, Mayor James F. Kinney.
Thank you very much. I want to get through this before my pages melt. So good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. April, as you know, is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we are gathered today to raise awareness for sexual assault survivors and to support Women Organized Against Rape mission to end sexual violence in the city of Philadelphia. Women Organized Against Rape is Philadelphia's only rape crisis center. They have worked tirelessly over the last 40 years to make sure that victims of sexual violence receive the help that they need. They provide around-the-clock counseling, comprehensive prevention, education programs, and advocacy for the rights of victims of sexual assault. Although Teal Day was technically on April 5th and we had to postpone the date of this event, I believe it was always the right time to show support for victims of sexual violence and for those working to end violence in our homes, communities, and nations. The numbers are staggering. 1 in 5 women have experienced completed or attempted or attempted rape in their lives. It is because of organizations like yours that victims of sexual assault can receive the resources that they need, that we can make steps to eliminating all forms of sexual assault. Clearly, in this country and in this time, we have a lot of work to do. So I want to thank you for allowing me to join you here today and for your commitment to this important work. As with all problems like this, we need to stick together, we need to be honest with each other, and we need to kind of move forward together so that we can take care of each other. We need each other, and we have to have each other's backs. And we're here for you, your government is here for you, and your mayor is here for you. So good luck and keep up the good work.
So now we are going to have our client speaker, Michael Broussard.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Broussard, and I'm a survivor of childhood rape. I use the word rape very specifically and very deliberately. If you ask someone, what are we going to do about all of these children being sexually abused? It's a far less compelling question than if you say, what are we going to do about all of these children being raped? The words are important. It's important to use the words. Women Organized Against Rape understands this. As a rape survivor, I'm grateful to WAR, because when I need help, when I need support, I can turn to their therapy and counseling services. I can talk to somebody who understands what I've been through, who understands what I face every single day as a survivor of rape. As a rape survivor, I can also take advantage of group counseling services. I can heal alongside my fellow survivors, and there's nothing more powerful than that. If I choose to take my rapist to court, Women Organized Against Rape will be with me all the way. They will escort me back and forth from court. They will help me navigate the legal system. They will prepare me for the rigors of a trial. They will walk every step with me to justice. I'd like to share with you an excerpt from a piece I wrote recently called Ask a Survivor. And it's about the fact that we can learn a heck of a lot if we simply talk to rape survivors. If you want to know what it's like as a child to be betrayed by a trusted adult, by someone who is supposed to take care of you, someone who is supposed to teach you, someone who is supposed to protect you, but instead, they choose to violate you in the most violent way possible. If you want to know what that's like, ask a survivor. If you want to know what it's like being terrified, groomed into silence and compliance by that same trusted adult, ask a survivor. If you want to know what it's like as a young teenager, turning to alcohol and drugs, because while your abuser may be gone, they are still drilled deep into your DNA, and you suffer panic attacks and nightmares and flashbacks 24/7. And the only thing that makes them stop is the blackout of alcohol and pills. If you want to know what that feels like, ask a survivor. If you want to know what it feels like at the age of 15 to realize you're a complete and total alcoholic and drug addict, and if you don't stop soon, you're going to die. So out of fear of death, you choose to get clean and sober. You do the hard work to achieve that. But the only thing waiting for you on the other side of sobriety are the nightmares and the flashbacks and the panic attacks. If you want to know what it's like as an adult trying to have quote-unquote normal relationships, but you've got this darkness inside of you that you can't share with the one you love because you've been convinced by your family, your community, this culture, that if you say anything about it, the person you love will leave you. So you stay silent and isolated in every single relationship. If you want to know what it's like striving and struggling to heal day after day, year after year, decade after decade, till finally you find yourself. I find myself here today, standing shoulder to shoulder with my sisters and my brothers from Women Organized Against Rape, being heard, being understood, being supported by all of you. If you want to know how empowering that feeling is, if you want to know how amazing that feeling is, if you want to know how healing that feeling is, ask a survivor. Ask me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Now we'll hear remarks from the supervisor of the Family Violence and Sexual Assault Unit, Bramlin McMahon.
Good afternoon. Let me begin by saying thank you to Women Organized Against Rape for the invitation for the District Attorney's Office to join you here on Teal Day 2018 during this month of sexual assault awareness and throughout the entire year. The District Attorney, Larry Krasner, sends his support and thanks for your dedicated and tireless work. I am the current supervisor of our Family Violence and Sexual Assault Unit, and I have worked with WAR as a prosecutor doing this work for 10 years. During that time, myself and my colleagues have acquired the greatest respect for the work and the dedication that WAR does to protect survivors of sexual assault. WAR and the District Attorney's Office work in partnership to ensure that survivors of sexual assault do not have to navigate the legal process alone. The Philadelphia Sexual Assault Response Center and the Special Victims Unit of the Philadelphia Police Department are co-located so that survivors of sexual assault may receive medical care and speak with detectives in the same building. And from the moment they set foot into that building, they are met with a full-time crisis advocate from WAR who provides medical and law enforcement advocacy. WAR sexual assault counselors also provide support and are present throughout the entirety of the legal proceedings, offering court accompaniment to all survivors. 754 survivors were supported by court advocates just in the past year. Those advocates provided survivors 886 hours of court accompaniment. The DA's office is assisted tremendously during the various stages of the legal process by the support that survivors receive from WAR. WAR helps the DA's office every day to hold offenders accountable and provide victims justice. Since the District Attorney, Krasner, was sworn in, he has brought with him a new dedication to serving victims and witnesses of crime. I speak with him on a regular basis about this important mission, and though it may not appear in the headlines every day, please know that the District Attorney and every member of his staff and every member of his office stands with you and is honored to be partnered with you in this very important work. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will hear from the Interim Supervisor of Victim Witness Services and Restorative Justice, Ms. Movita Johnson-Harrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to thank WAR for inviting the DA's office here to participate in this wonderful gathering in honor of Sexual Violence Awareness Month. And first, I'd like to fully disclose, I am a child survivor of molestation, and I am an adult survivor of rape. And our Councilwoman Blondell Williams-Brown talked about the numbers of people who report. And while there are many, many numbers of people who report, there are many, many numbers of people who don't. And a lot of reasons why people don't report is because of the shame and the guilt associated with becoming an outward survivor of rape or domestic violence. And then there are other circumstances where there are children who have been molested and raped who report to parents or grandparents or other family members who do not protect them. So as a community, it is all of our responsibility to raise the voice of the victims. It is all of our responsibility to reduce the numbers of people in our communities that are suffering through these tragedies. It is all of our experience, it is all of our responsibility to bring awareness to the issue, to support WAR and the work that they do to protect men, women, and children every day in our communities. Hashtag I am a warrior. So if you're tweeting, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you're doing, hashtag WOARRIOR, warrior. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear from City Councilwoman Helen Gim.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know it's getting cold and the rain's coming, but I just want to thank everybody for coming out in this shared space, for supporting the incredible work of Women Organized Against Rape. For all the folks here, thank you, Javita, from our Women's Commission, and all of our city council offices, our partners in this work to raise up our voices on an issue that's so important. When we are silent, women are hurt. That's the bottom line. And one of the messages that has come out so prevalently as we look at a White House, a state legislature, here in our own city, people of power who abuse it and get away with it, means that those in our communities can also see an incredible amount of impunity. And the people and women who speak up each and every day to lift up our voices, to talk about the impacts that we're having. You give us life and hope. I'm grateful each and every day for the work that you do, especially now. And this culture of harassment and abuse, the kinds of words that are said in public, the entitlement that people feel to out victims from a house floor is toxic, it's shocking, and you know what? It's not going to go unanswered. So I'm not going to keep folks out here. All I'm going to say is thank you. I'm here with you. To everybody who tells their story, for those who can't yet tell their stories, this city is with you. We're going to support and uplift all women because this world needs our stories and our voices if we're ever going to see change. Thank you.
Another client speaker, Catherine Wild.
Hello. I'm grateful to be here with you guys today. I'm grateful you all came out in this weather. I think I saw snow a minute ago. We're here celebrating Teal Day and Sexual Awareness Month. It's not an easy theme, is it? So I'm doubly grateful that you guys are out here to come talk about it. My abuse began in infancy. My grandfather began grooming me before I was 3 months old. He took my instinct to say no before I developed the concept. He took my instinct to say help
before I learned to form the words. I was drowned, burned, raped, hunted, and tortured for the first 5 years of my life.
I'd like to tell you what that does to a person. It's like having a tiny piece of bone broken every day, starting at the toes and moving up. I spent 38 years with these memories blocked. I knew I was fragile and full of cracks, but I didn't know why or how extensive the damage was. I spent much of the past 3 years in emotional traction. For a long time, all I could do was cry. I spent 9 months sobbing on my bathroom floor, 12 to 15 hours a day. 2 years were consumed by flashbacks, panic attacks, catatonias, manias, and depressions. Much of that time was spent struggling to find support, people who could guide me through facing the terror that had suddenly become my everyday. Last year, I was directed to WAR. With their support through my trauma-informed counselor I see weekly, I was able to finally begin the process of putting myself back together. It's been a long 3 years since the journey began, and I'm still getting back on my feet. Full-time employment is something I've only recently been able to consider, and a couple of years of having panic attacks over things like mail don't help anything. I've faced homelessness more than once these past few years, and it's an immeasurable comfort to know that no matter what my life circumstances are, WAR will be there for me. WAR services are completely free. They even provide tokens so that I don't have to worry about how I'll get there. That means the world to me. My past is ugly, but I'm facing it. I'm learning who I am and what I want to do with my life, and slowly but surely, I'm doing it. WAR has been an amazing support in giving me the healing and empowerment I needed to move on that journey, and I'm proud to be a warrior. Thank you.
Thank you. And last, but most certainly not least, we'll hear from the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Commission for Women, Javita Hill.
Thank you very, very much. I'm going to keep this short so we can get out of this weather. Weather hasn't been our friend lately, has it? We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we are really, really grateful for the work that WAR does each and every day, 24/7. As we know, WAR is home to the city's only rape crisis center. Monique and your volunteers and this wonderful organization, thank you very, very much. And I think Michael, thank you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change some of my words in what I wrote. I wrote about sexual violence, but I'm going to talk about rape, because you're absolutely correct that we have to call it. It's a very ugly thing that happens to men, women, children, girls, boys. And yes, this is Women Organized Against Rape, but this really is a human issue. And it's a human right for all of us, to be safe in all of the spaces that we occupy, whether it's our homes, our workplaces, private places, schools, our dorm rooms. We deserve to be safe. And thank you, WAR, for helping us in trying to change this rape culture. And that's when this will change, when we work together to end rape culture. Philadelphia is home to one of the most progressive cities in the nation. We have one of the most progressive city councils in the nation. Thank you, Councilwoman Helen Gim, for the work that you do, and Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown for the work that she's been doing for decades to improve the lives of women, children, and their families. And for the mayor, who held, as a city councilman, held some of the very first hearings on sexual harassment and street harassment. And so we also have to remember our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community. I look forward to the day when we don't have to stand before you with such dire statistics that 50% of all women will experience sexual violence, rape in her lifetime, and that 1 in 6 boys are raped before the age of 16. 44% of lesbians and 61% of bisexual women experience rape, physical violence, or stalking. 47% of transgender people are sexually assaulted at some time in their lives. So again, let's be clear. Sexual violence and rape is not a woman's issue, it's a human rights issue. My pages are sticking together because they're wet, but I'm almost done, I promise. Every human being, again, has the right to be safe in their home, in their workplace, at school, and in public spaces. And I also would like to take this opportunity to ask you to join us next Friday here at City Hall for Hands Around City Hall, where we will gather from 12 to 1 o'clock in solidarity with survivors of rape and sexual violence. And at that time, be there with us as we pledge to believe survivors, challenge victim blaming, and respect boundaries. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. This is our closing, and so I want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for the support that we receive from the City of Philadelphia, from our partner organizations, from the staff and the team that I work with every day, from the clients and the people that we are honored to serve. So thank you. I want to tell one really quick story about the energy of the Color Teal. Last night I'm coming back from, I'm adjunct faculty at a university at LaSalle, and I'm coming down the Schuylkill, and I'm exhausted. I'm on the other side of exhaust. And I look over to my right-hand side as I'm coming around the curve, and I swear I was doing the speed limit, I swear. Okay, no police officers, so great. And I look over to my left-hand side, and Boathouse Row is lit in teal. And that gave me the energy to ride the rest of the way home. And so give me the energy to do the work that is hard and that is ugly, because the work is needed. So thank you very much for today. We absolutely really appreciate it. Please show your support again the 27th, which is a Friday, in the interior, right here in the courtyard, where we hold hands and play respect to and recognize the work that we do and the people that we're honored to serve our Hands Around City Hall as we close out Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So, thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you very much for joining us today at our Teal Day press conference. If you have any questions, concerns, if you need our services, please contact us at 215-985-3333. Or for more resources, reach out to www.woar.org. We also ask you to continue the conversation of this. Sexual Assault Awareness Month does not end on April 30th. It continues the rest of the year. And as we move forward into our new initiative to make the city a safe city, we want you to join in that conversation. So if you have questions, concerns, you have ideas about how that would look like, please reach out to us on all of our social media platforms. We are War Philly on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, be a warrior and join us to end sexual violence in the city of Philadelphia. Have a great day.
End it.
Yeah, they want to visit.